Yo, Jack, are you frozen? Sam, are you there? Yeah, Jack, are you frozen? Sam, are you there? Yeah, Jack, are you frozen? Sam, are you there? What are we even doing here?
Yo, Wi-Fi flagging, but they holding it down. How about them J-era Maz ballers running Beantown? They say these guys are ridiculous, yet probably true. Like the 23 Celtics, they got a deep crew. Pregame Polly Papa trying to make some bank. Professor Pete repping Latvia, KP the thing. RJ's on the email taking fools to college. Joey, Matt, Timo, Robin, let's acknowledge. What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Checking Sam, talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here? In the garden, fighting for a quiet spot. Jack's taking notes while the crowd gets hot. Irate, insightful, not a diplomat. Sam's got a long list and it's just for rats. Rat list your Wi-Fi, rat list your dog. Rat list Bronny, rat list LeBron. Rat list the traffic, rat list the song. Rat list that's getting too long. What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Checking Sam, talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here? Might think they're chill, but don't get it twisted. They're not just hustling, they're highly gifted. Still new to the scene and making their mark. It's a humble beginning, it's a hero's arc. Sam's keeping it real with the Starkey vibe, but he's all in with Jack when it's time to ride. Your ass hat in the chat, Jack says don't come back. He's got zero patience for nonsense attacks. What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Checking Sam, talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here? What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Jack and Sam talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here?
Hey, we're here. Happy Saturday. Happy Knicks Day. I despise the Knicks, Bobby. This is a big game for me, plain and simple, right off the bat. You notice Jack is not here today. It is Bobby Kravitsky, one of the show's favorite guests, filling in. Hello, Bobby.
Sam, where do the Knicks rank on your NBA tiers of hate?
They're right behind the Lakers. Lakers 1, Knicks 2. The Lakers always get free guys, have terrible fans, lame fans. The Knicks have some of the worst fans too, where like if they win today, they'll throw a championship parade in the streets, and you'll see them celebrating probably with, everybody there. But if you guys are in the chat, thank you very much for being here. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Recap will be up in the morning. Make sure you check out Bobby doing all kinds of work for Forbes. You can also catch what is the name of the stream, Bobby?
So it's newly rebranded to Celtics Rundown. So that is
Rundown.
The new name of the live stream, Celtics Rundown. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Joey Spatulas, you're a legend. Troy Mackey, what up? Love y'all.
All right. So we do know today, no Drew. Drew is out today. No Torrey Craig today. Torrey Craig, by the way, who now, Bobby, if you did ask Jalen about Torrey Craig, there would not be chaos ensuing.
Now we can go on record and say that I asked him.
Now he can officially say that he thinks that he's a good fit with the team.
Yes. And so, I mean, look, Jaylen Brown he's excuse me, he said there that he trusts the front office, and he, as Brad Stevens said, that North Star is a championship, and they have acted accordingly. So this is a move that fits that. They strengthened the Stay Ready group. So I like this addition. My prediction is we don't see Torrey Craig until after the All-Star break. Not only integrating him into a new team, which the Celtics, there are counterexamples like getting Derek White. He plays right away against Denver upon arrival. But for additions of this spot on the roster, they typically take their time with it. And between that and the fact that Craig has not played since the end of December, and he's only appeared in 9 games this season, I don't expect to see Craig make his team debut until after the break.
I would agree. Once we found out that he wasn't going to play in this game, and it was injury report listed that he wasn't going to play in this game, I felt like we would not see him until a couple weeks, at the very least. Cat is playing today. He was a game time decision, as Troy says in the chat, but they have said that he's going to give it a go, which is good. I think if the Celtics knew that Cat wasn't playing, they'd probably not try. I hope they get up for it today.
And what's the official word on Josh Hart, who is probable, so I assume he's in the lineup? I know OG downgraded to out.
Let me double check. I'll go. Let's see. Josh Hart and Cat in, Knicks say, according to Fred Katz.
Yeah, that was the expectation right there. So OG out, as well as, of course, Mitchell Robinson and Pacome Daddier, excuse me. And then we have Karl Towns and Josh Hart in as expected.
We also have Jazz, who's very shocked that Bobby's here. What the fuck, Jazz?
Jazz, that was an awesome comment. Appreciate you. Much love.
Let's see. RJ says, getting Torrey Craig up to speed makes sense. I agree. It is exactly what they did with Tillman last year. Tillman had a knee thing before he joined the team. Came in. They just kind of sat him forever. Sat him in the playoffs. And then in the offseason, he ended up getting the knee scope. But he did end up playing after the break. We did get a look at him before the playoffs. And, you know, he had his moment in the finals. Made the big, super cool corner three. Helped the Celtics to a Game 3 win in Dallas. No, RJ, everybody... I think everybody's playing for the Knicks today. There was a risk.
Well, no OG and Anunoby, most notably.
Oh, that's a big one because, as they would have told you last year, they didn't lose very many games when he was healthy.
Yeah, they wanted that message out there. I mean, I'm sure that you could find a corner of Knicks fans who would tell you that when they don't have Bogdanovich, it looks different. So, yeah, everyone loves to point to that without acknowledging who might be out of the lineup for the opposition.
Speaking of what Knicks fans will tell you and New York fans will tell you, this is a massive game today. It is a massive game. This is the official debut of the Grimace Bowl, the Grimace Invitational. I don't know if you've seen me spamming this on Twitter, but the Celtics do have their own Grimace now. They have a Celtics Grimace that comes along with the Shamrock Shake. This is a look at him right here. They call him Uncle O'Grimacy. He's got the Shamrock.
How do you feel about the name? What would you rate the name? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is perfect. They knocked it out of the park.
I think if the Celtics had any brains, not that we don't love them, thank you, Celtics, for all you allow us to do, they would make Uncle O'Grimacy merch. They would do a collab. They would sell O'Grimacy jerseys. This is tremendous. I love this. The only thing to be honest with you, if you want my take on the name, they actually should have just named him Celtics Grimace. That's what they should have did. More people would buy Shamrock Shakes.
I don't think that hits. That sounds.
They would think, oh, wow, if I drink this, I'm going to be a winner like the Celtics.
Sometimes keeping it as simple as possible is the right move. I think that's a little too copy and paste. It's giving me vibes of the Milwaukee Bucks banner for the in-season tournament this year, where it's almost like they've forgotten at the last minute, just threw something up there.
I would love to see Uncle O'Grimacy make it to a Celtics game. Who's to say that he can't join Lucky on the trampolines?
Yeah, they've been very slow with the rollout of Uncle O'Grimacy at Celtics games and being something that they're actually promoting. So Jumbotron, an actual mascot making an appearance, some local commercials. Maybe you get some tailored to in-arena entertainment at a break in the action. I'm all for the full-scale launch right now.
Well, not for nothing. They also have the stupid the cheeseburgers, the build the cheeseburger game at the Garden.
Well, you know what that's all about. McDonald's just wants you to get in there, and then they'll see what happens once you try some of those products.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're already in bed with McDonald's. You have the nugget giveaway for the free throws. This is a layup. This is a layup. Who do we talk to about this at the games?
We will seek out the right people and make something happen. So, chat, if you see Uncle O'Grimacy, the actual mascot, at the next Celtics home game or right after the All-Star break, you know why. Who made that happen.
If the Celtics win today, they've stolen Grimace from New York. Because for those that don't know, Timo says he is out of the
revenge for Babe Ruth.
Revenge for Babe Ruth is absolutely right. Timo says he's out of the loop on the Grimace stuff. So I am going to write about this for Celtics blog. Should the Celtics take care of business? Then the New York sport fan has taken a liking to Grimace. Grimace has become an unofficial New York mascot after he threw out the first pitch at the Mets game back in June. The Mets at the time were not playing very well, had a disastrous start to the season. Grimace comes along all of a sudden. They start winning games. They make the playoffs. They go all the way to the NLCS. I was looking at this today. They gave Grimace his own, like how they have the Ted Williams seat at Fenway. There's a Grimace seat at Citi Field. It's purple.
That's electric. And like when you see him on the subway, even don't know if that's the actual Grimace. There might be imitators, perhaps, but nonetheless, still electric.
This is the grimmest. I need the Celtics to win today. This is a big day. I already before I saw Uncle O Grimacy for the first time, I needed them to win. I hate the Knicks. The Knicks are a poor imitation of the Celtics. They have a fake garden with no banners in it. Loser franchise, piss poor. They think that they're going to win the East this year. They are a poor imitation, to say the least.
I mean, the Celtics have been the best road team in the league this season, and they've been excellent after a loss typically. So both of those things bode well when you consider how this team will respond. I've put stock for a while now in what does it look like coming out of the All-Star break for this team, and that'll tell us, okay, are they waiting to try and flip the switch in the playoffs, which makes them as vulnerable as possible, and I would hate to see it. Or is that when they kick it into a higher gear? At the same time, this is a big game at Madison Square Garden in prime time. And so I think that, combined with how the Celtics have looked on the road and after a loss, I think I would expect and be disappointed if you don't get one of the better versions of the Celtics tonight.
Well, I'll definitely be disappointed. And you make a great point. Like, if this
You'll
was
be
at
inconsolable is what it sounds like.
If this was at the real Garden, then they would probably lose, because now they hate to win at home. They played terrible on Thursday. They didn't do anything until it was garbage time. The game was over. And I think it was, what are they, 6-8 in their last 14 at home? They're doing an awful lot of losing up north. So the fact that this is on the road has me feeling pretty good. Celtics have been very good in road games. Like Bobby said, they've showed up in big road games. They showed up against the Cavs, which going into it had a very similar feel. Big test, another one of the top teams in the East. And then, of course, in Philly, when they're almost dead, they come back. Incredible comeback, by the way. I don't know if we got to talk about this, but that was the sort of comeback that I was like, you know what? Like, I think they're not completely out of it, because they actually showed some fight when they got down. How many times this year, Bobby, have you seen them fall behind and then they just roll over?
Yeah, they could have easily mailed it in and people would have excused it away, but the excuses are piling up. And what you want to see out of competitors is that Joe Mazzulla challenges them and says, hey, if tonight's not the night and you guys don't have it, then it is what it is. Let me know and I can take you out, and we'll put the stay ready group and we'll let the bench finish this one out. And that absolutely is a challenge to your pride and your competitive spirit. And the Celtics responded accordingly. So that was good to see that response. And Joe has his finger on the pulse of this team. You always want to see your head coach bat 1,000 when it comes to pushing the right buttons. So that was an encouraging performance from both the bench boss and from the team itself.
Absolutely. We only have a few more games here until the All-Star break. Jayson and Jalen will be in San Francisco. JD Davison will be in San Francisco. And as we learned on the last pregame show, during the show, Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck picked some of the worst lopsided all-star teams I've ever seen. It'll be Jalen, Jayson, LeBron, Steph, and a couple other guys against a team of basically nobody. And then a third team that has Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, all the international guys that are just megastars. What do you think of the new all-star format? Are you in or out?
I'm willing to let it play out before making some kind of predetermined strong stance on it. With that said, the draft, when it was a player doing it for different reasons, not always just because, hey, here's LeBron and KD. Like when you get the James Harden theater of he just got out of Brooklyn, that was phenomenal. So I'm more inclined to have that, and it's something that they can promote. But the night of the draft, I really wasn't paying attention to it at all. And it's just those guys doing it themselves on TNT. So as big a show as that is, it didn't move the needle in my estimation. So, I mean, it seemed like as far as picking the teams goes, they could have done a better job of promoting that. And then when it comes to how this works, I think it was clear, Sam, that they needed to do something, but there's far from a guarantee that this works, because the reality is that players don't really want to use this game to compete like they used to.
Yeah, there's definitely none of that. I think you have actually been in the conversations before because we were doing stuff last year. My favorite thing to point at and be like, do this is like do one-on-one. Do a one-on-one tournament. All of their egos are on the line. They won't want to lose. Like there is a competitiveness that these guys have with their sense of self-pride, and they will want to win. They will try. If you have to separate it, guards, bigs, like definitely do that. Make it the best it can be. That is the way to do it. You can even do it NBA rules where it's like 1 or 2 dribbles. That's all you can do. Like, because Blake Griffin talked about how Peyton Pritchard would want to just play one-on-one after practice with the We Might Be Drunk guys. And he was like, yeah, 2 dribbles. He's just completely out of the picture. I would love to see that. I'd be in on the one-on-one stuff. I think the dunk contest needs to go too. They should just play horse. But today was a big day too because we got the Anthony Davis debut. The Anthony Davis debut, which was exciting. First play of the game.
For a minute.
The clip was all over Twitter. Gets the ball in the post, throws a lob to Gafford. Crowd's electric. They're so excited for AD after having a super mega funeral outside for Luka, who is not dead. He's just he might not die when LeBron throws him under the bus, but he's not dead yet. And then, of course, AD gets hurt.
So the toughest chant to stomach from the Dallas crowd was bring Luka back. And they even said he's not fat. Bring back Luka. Bring Luka back. I mean, that's the one where you feel the most because everyone knows you can have this big outcry, but there's no reversing this. There's no changing course here. And then with Anthony Davis, it started off absolutely electric. I love when he scores, he gets fouled, and there's a break. And so he goes to the crowd. He goes, I'm here. Like, that was such a great moment. And the type of thing that the Mavericks fans desperately needed. And to then see it go away because of a non-contact injury is very concerning. And on one hand, he looked great. On the other, if he was still with the Lakers, I don't know if he plays today. So I think he might have been rushed just a little bit even to, in this time of need for the Mavericks. And it started off like, wow, thank God that he's out there. And then it backfired dramatically.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about like the added outside pressure of everyone being like, the world is ending. I don't want to be a Mavs fan anymore. I can't believe they would do this to Luka. You have the fire Nico, sell the team, trucks driving around outside. They had a casket there. Unbelievably, like on the nose.
They had a funeral procession.
Yes, they literally had like a fake funeral for Luka. You're on the nose with this. Like he had to play in this game. They needed, if Anthony Davis did not play in the game today, he's not fat, bringing back chance would have been ringing around the arena. Fire Nico chance would have been ringing around the arena.
So loud.
It would have been
all game.
A circus in there today. I envy. I mean, I do not envy the Mavs fans.
Also, you know how with College Game Day they'll do like, hey, what are the best signs?
Yes.
Far and away, the winner from the Mavs protest outside the arena from the fans was someone who held up a sign that said JFK got treated better in Dallas than Luka.
We do have a Celtics. Oh no, Kristaps out. Whoa. Illness, just illness. He's not hurt. Don't worry.
Late scratch.
But it is breaking news, so we will put up. Kristaps is not playing. That sucks. That's part of the game that. Oh man, Uncle O'Grimacy might be getting whacked tonight. His legacy is on the line, and Kristaps isn't.
So they were going to start double big too, as expected, but that's out the window now.
Oh man, that sucks. Now I'm pissed off. Jimmy Butler.
I mean, they still
debut too. Go ahead.
That's exciting. They still have plenty of talent available tonight to beat the Knicks, who are also shorthanded.
Who are they missing?
OG Anunoby.
Oh, we already talked. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that retort.
I just kind of you assume it's a given that OG Anunoby is not going to be playing. I just got so used to it last year. Dear God, I thought it was an Embiid situation where he fell in warm-ups. Is that what you're talking about? Timo says he's feeling a big Tatum game, 45 plus. It's possible. I mean, he lit them up on opening night. It was one of the more impressive Tatum performances I've ever seen. he spent the whole summer getting made fun of for no aura and sitting the bench on Team USA and all that shit. And he came out and gave him 38 on like 13 of 17. It was just quite the game to be at. I would love to see him do it again. That would be more than welcome. Tatum, if somebody close to Tatum's listening, please tell him. Score all the points.
Yeah, I mean, he got asked about his workload tonight, and he said, no, definitely doesn't feel like he's shouldering too much of the burden. And, with Joe, they always go over that being, what Tatum wants to be is someone who dominates all facets of the game. He talked about rebounding specifically being a point of pride for him. So tonight, I think you're going to see Jayson Tatum play Jayson Tatum's game, which is what you should expect every single time. And I mean, it'd be one thing if Jalen wasn't playing, then he might kick it up as far as scoring goes. But ultimately, I think this is going to resemble what happened at MSG a year ago, just in terms of Tatum, not the outcome per se. But I think the Knicks are going to look to aggressively high trap, get the ball out of Jason's hands, and he's going to do what he does, which is make the right read, which, again, I'm getting long-winded here now, Sam, but I said this the other day on a live stream for Celtics Rundown. I think Tatum has leveled up in terms of his ability to get the Celtics a good quality shot consistently when they come down the floor.
That's really the most important thing he can do for them, because there have been plenty of times this year where we have seen the Celtics not get the best shot down the floor. A lot of that happened on Thursday. Just posting the injury update in the chat so nobody thinks that he tore his knee. He is just sick, everybody. It's disappointing, but not alarming.
Right. There's all kinds of stuff going around right now, and it's not COVID, so it could be a lot worse.
I'll actually just put it up here. Let's see. RJ says, do you think anyone on the Stay Ready crew sees the floor before the fourth quarter? With the injury update, Drew not being in, Kristaps not being in, I think it's certainly realistic. It's possible. I think Walsh would be somebody I would like to see. I'm a big fan of his. I think he gives you a different look than Hauser. We're probably not going to get an opportunity to see a lot of Jordan Walsh going forward because of Torrey Craig getting in there. I'd imagine they will defer to Craig once he's healthy. But also, there is some opportunity for Nemi tonight, too. I mean, Nemi was pretty good in the fourth quarter of Thursday's game. He's hit or miss. He can be very, very good or very, very bad. It would be great to see him play well today.
Well, so even with Drew Holiday out, the first place I look is the center position, where you don't want to lean too heavily on Al Horford. And so, Keita, is there an opportunity there? Probably, especially if the Celtics want to maintain double big, then there's going to be opportunities where, just as far as managing that rotation up front, you're going to probably give Keita some minutes. Maybe it's small, maybe it's strictly contingent on, we need you for X amount and you can play your way into more minutes. That's what I guess it would be. And maybe it's something where you see him in the first half, but not the second, depending on how the game goes. So the first thing that comes to mind as far as opportunities within the Stay Ready group is Neemias Queta.
Timo, you're lucky you're a regular. I would ban you. This is uncalled for. This is mean. It's too soon.
Shots to the heart.
Yeah, you're lucky. I'm speechless. I got nothing to say to him.
I mean, Sam, where are you on the panic meter about him getting another NBA contract this season?
I mean, if I had a team, I'd sign him. I don't. So the panic meter's high.
I mean, look, if I had a team, O'Shea wouldn't have had to go through all these undeserved shenanigans, but here we are.
True. I'm almost surprised they didn't give O'Shea another look in the Craig slot.
I think that Torrey Craig was someone they were eyeing for a while. And when he spoke today, one of the things he said was that as soon as he got bought out from the Bulls, and he might be, massaging some of the details here because of what's allowed and what isn't. But when he says as soon as he got bought out by the Bulls, he speaks to his agent and right away he told him Boston. I think that was communicated to the Celtics. That wasn't just a two-person conversation. So the Celtics probably have known for a little bit that If they
Just
want
thinking
Torrey
about
Craig,
the agent being
then
like,
he's
okay,
there.
I won't tell anybody. You want Boston? It's between us. I won't say anything. We'll see what's out there. Can't promise anything. It's too bad Ben Simmons wasn't in. I think I said it to Jack on a stream the other day when we were talking about the trade deadline and the buyouts and stuff. Can you imagine if the Celtics won a championship with Ben Simmons on the team? The absolute power you would have with a Ben Simmons no Larry meme to reply to Sixers tweets with.
I mean, that you can pull up all the old articles from Sixers fans being like, why would we trade Ben Simmons for Jaylen Brown? There's a lot of ammunition they would have if that was a thing. Also, when it came to Ben Simmons' options, I mean, the idea that he was going to go play for Ime Udoka, I don't see that being a fit. Good for them for getting the bronze medal and being the third finalist, but I would have been floored if Ben Simmons chose to go play for the Houston Rockets.
Tebow says he was worried about him going to Cleveland. I think it wouldn't make a ton of sense for him to be a part of the Cavs the way they try and shoot a lot of threes like the Celtics did last year. He could be a rotation big guy if they wanted to use him that way, a la Jared Allen, the way that he is able to just be effective without being a shooter. He could be a bench rotation guy that way. Obviously, he's a versatile defender. He could be somebody they throw at Tatum and Brown. The Celtics have never lost a playoff series to Ben Simmons. I will say that. And he was in his prime.
So that certainly would have been an interesting one to see on the line. I think he would have been a great pickup for Cleveland. And I said to Jack before the game against Dallas that I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Simmons chooses Los Angeles, even more than choosing the Clippers. But if I was him, I mean, you look at the opportunity in Cleveland, I think they would have loved an addition of that caliber defensively. But the other thing, and facilitating, obviously, but the other thing with Ben Simmons is so much of it is theoretical because he's played 80 games in 4 years. And so you can't trust him to be in the lineup, let alone be the Ben Simmons who we think of when we say his name. So to me, he probably will be
thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the guy in the clown suit from the Nets series sitting on the bench.
Right? I don't know if you're going to say Bill Simmons' kid. Also
Bill Simmons' kid, Ben Simmons. Yeah, I forgot about that.
The more elite Ben Simmons than NBA Ben Simmons, who has fallen from grace. And I think he would have been helpful on a Cavaliers team that just traded some rotation players like Georges Niang and Karis LeVert.
You know what was my favorite part of that Nets series was the Ben Simmons angle where all the beat reporters were like, they were saying Ben Simmons was going to play, like how George tells Susan that he has, or Susan's parents, that he has a place in the Hamptons in Seinfeld, and they make him drive him to the Hamptons to see it. Like that, it was like the same thing. It was like, watch out, like he's going to play. We swear he's going to play.
Him dunking in the background of a video at shoot around is the equivalent of George stopping off and then being like, we want to get you some house plants as a gift. He's like, all right, we're taking it up a notch.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
He just starts putting lies on top of it, which would be like Ben Simmons with the Fitz showing up courtside. Where he's like, I have 2 horses. And they're like, we didn't ask. We didn't think you did. He's like, Snoopy and Prickly Pete.
Ben Simmons, I feel you're right about Los Angeles. It's like the least surprising thing. Like he didn't want to live in Brooklyn. Like the only place in the NBA market wise that like would be good for somebody who hates playing basketball that is not New York is Los Angeles. Yeah,
and he's on the B team there as well. So this is a cushy landing spot for Ben Simmons. He'll get to go to the play-in or the playoffs. We'll see. It's a close race there and a lot of talent out west, probably playoffs. But it's a good team he's joining. He fills multiple needs theoretically. So I'm not going to blame him and I'm not going to be surprised either by the fact that he's trying to find the best combination of personal and professional fit and picking Los Angeles.
Yeah. We can wrap up a little early, Bobby, just get everybody in front of the TVs for the primetime game. Again, go ahead and plug whatever you'd like. I appreciate you coming to fill in for Jack. It's always nice to see you. And we always have a blast here.
Yeah, always love coming on, whether it's pre, post, or just during the week and chopping it up with you guys. And so you can find me. Live stream is Celtics Rundown. It's part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And then you can check out my work over at Forbes, and you can find me on social feeding that Twitter addiction at Bobby Kravitsky.
I'm also addicted to Twitter. All right, everybody. Enjoy the game. Jake will be with me in the morning doing the recap. Here's Joe.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your